Good afternoon, everyone. We are moving on to the next session. It's going to be a panel discussion. The panel discussion titled Descriptive to Predictive, the Future of Data Analytics, brings together leading experts in the field of AI and data analytics. Srimati Madhuri Madhavan Pillai from IBM India Software Labs, Shri Pranav Kumar from Capgemini, and Dr. Sheela Siddappa from Commonwealth Bank will share insights on the evolving role of data in driving predictive capabilities and the future of AI-driven analytics. Let me give a brief introduction about the speakers. Srimati Madhuri Pillai is a program director with IBM Data and AI Business Analytics. She has 23 years of experience in leading software design, development, support, technical project and client management, ecosystem management, virtualization, cloud security, data and AI domains. She is a technologist and innovator with filed patents and publications. We welcome you, ma'am. Next, we will be having Mr. Pranav Kumar, an explorer and dreamer. Pranav has always been attracted to create something new, markets, products, or services. He has enthusiastically been part of startup ecosystems and actively mentored startups building their operations and sales strategy. Pranav has mentored several global tech and B school graduates and interns and speaks at several industry forums. We welcome you, sir. Next, we are having Dr. Sheela Siddappa. She is an AI leader with over 18 years of industry experience in addressing business problems across various domains such as Industry 4.0, healthcare, and smart cities. She has been recognized with numerous accolades, including Top 10 Data Scientist in India 2020 and Data Science Professional of the Year 2023. Dr. Sheela holds 6 patents, has over 25 international publications, and serves on advisory boards for several institutes. We welcome you, ma'am.
Thank you.
We are honored to have Mr. Sujas Ali, the founder and CEO of Aabasoft, as our moderator today. With over 21 years of experience in the IT industry, Sujas has successfully led Aabasoft in delivering innovative solutions across multiple sectors, while also investing in promising startups to drive digital transformation. We welcome you, sir. It's over to you, sir. You can start by asking the
Good afternoon. First of all, thank you so much for inviting me as a moderator and the most eminent members who are sitting here. They are completely specialized in data, AI, and strongly, you can think they are the leaders in that segment. And we are so lucky to have here these strong team members. And let's start with, as an academic point of view, everyone is really connected with academics also. And as a point of view, let's understand what they are doing. Actually, through that introduction, my first part is completely covered by the speaker. Anyway, let's start with Sheela, Dr. Sheela. What's the journey in AI and data? How you reached here?
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So before that, hello everyone. You're here. I know it has been a long day, at least hearing too many things. If I put myself there, it's very difficult to sit and hear, and it's a lot of heavy things on the brain. So we'll start with one small little story. Okay. So we have all seen insects. So there was this experiment that was done. Okay. So there is a wasp as an insect, a small little insect, not big, especially the female insect. So what it does is, it goes all around the place, collects food, and it comes near its house or a burrow, and then puts the food outside and goes in and checks for any intruders. If there are no intruders, then it will come out, take the food, and goes and places it inside the burrow. Okay? Heard so far? Okay, cool. So now what has happened, when the insect was inside checking for intruders, somebody has displaced the food. So instead of maybe this side, somebody has come and put it the other side of it. And they observed that the insect, once it came out, it noticed that the food was displaced. It again went inside, checked for intruders, came out, took the food, and then went inside. Okay? So do you think the insect did analytics or machine learning or AI? What do you think it has done now? Anybody from AI, computer science? Wow, okay. It's an irrelevant question. Okay. So, but anyway, this was all about on the analytics side of it. So I thought I will give you this sample. So this was an experiment that was conducted. Okay. Basically, the insect is doing a machine learning job. Okay. So the difference is that if it is analytics, no matter what, it would have just done the same activity. Okay. That is analytics. So if somebody is asking you to do addition, no matter what, you'll still do addition. That's analytics. If you go on to use a little bit amount of intelligence, and then you do something, kind of, maybe if you have seen the scenario before, then you will know how to do. But if you have not seen the scenario before, then you will try to act in a slightly different manner. Okay, so that's machine learning. But if you are given in even a very new environment, and you still want to use your intelligence, that's where you have to go into artificial intelligence. That's a little far off story as we speak, but coming to, this was the differentiation. So today we are here talking more on the analytics and the kind of journey that we have gone through. So very briefly, I did my engineering electives also in the space of statistics and optimization. So I found it interesting in the application area. So that's where I took on to do my master's and PhD. At the end of PhD only did I feel that, okay, something has taken place in terms of understanding. Okay. That's where I want to bring in a small little thought here. My advisor used to say this. If you ask any specific question, anything like, what is an atom, what is anything molecule or anything, you get a very strict, disciplined answer coming in from a bachelor student if you ask this question. The same question if you ask to a master student, you will kind of get an answer. Okay? The same, what is an atom kind of a question is asked to a PhD student, you should be happy if you will get an answer. Okay? So higher education is only getting confused at a much higher degree. So that was the definition of higher education. So when I actually completed my PhD, so yes, I could get some flavor of understanding of what it does, and then went on to typically doing research in multiple organizations in fields like manufacturing, retail, healthcare, and currently in the banking sector. But yes, there has been a huge difference between what we see in the academic world versus the practice world, and how to marry them in terms of practicality, bringing them is certainly not an easy ball game. And that's where certain things are still in the analytics phase. Some have moved on to machine learning. And yeah, and its adaptation is a little slow process than we can imagine from a theoretical world.
Yeah, great. Actually, from insects to
yeah,
the current journey, very well explained. And anyway, thank you so much for sharing your insight on your journey. And Pranav, don't start from insects, but you can just describe how you came.
My journey never started with data. So I started with a mechanical engineering degree. And being a mechanical engineer, everybody thinks it's all about hammers and stones. So that's how the journey started. I started with the work with Ashok Leyland, then eventually joined Wipro, a couple of other companies. Right? But then across the journey, what was of interest to me was about why are things happening? What is leading to that? So in Wipro, when I was put on the project, it was around billing invoicing functions. So I wanted to know about how does billing invoicing works, how does the charge structures come into play, all of that. That eventually led me, okay, I should do a bit of MBA in finance. That was the premise with which I did my MBA from Symbiosis SIBM. Then went into a journey of, I would say, entrepreneurship at KPMG, Infosys. Infosys was a company which we both worked at the same time. So there, they wanted to carve out a entity which was around products. But being a service company, how do you go about creating products? It's a very different journey which you have to go through, right? So went through that. Then a journey into setting up GCCs. Now it's a common phenomenon in the market. But then 10 years back, setting up a GCC in India, China, Colombia, I was working on that. So never worked on the data side till then. But then after that, I moved into a role at Adobe. Adobe was a company which is into, primarily people know it for Photoshop, Illustrator, Dreamweaver. But then I was not on that. I was a guy who was there on the Experience Cloud business, which is around marketing, sales, service, commerce. So I was doing that. Just then, everything was all about creating compelling experiences. How do I create something creative, which will ensure that someone is going ahead, looking at it and going and buying it. But then you can't know a customer without having some data points about it. So that's where the inquisitiveness started, how the models come into play, what are market mix models, all that. I started to understand and uncover around that. That's when Adobe was doing something called as they have a sponsorship program around, you can do a degree in whatever you want. They give you $11,000, go ahead and spend on learning every year. And I'm not praising Adobe, but yeah, it's a good step which was done. And that's when I did my degree in data science from University of Michigan. So that laid the foundation, shifting a mechanical engineering guy into a data and analytics and AI guy. And today I'm with Capgemini, running that practices focused around data and AI, generative AI, agentic AI. So all of that, I'm right now working with customers, shaping up those conversations, driving outcomes for them. Hope that helps.
Yeah, very well said. From mechanical engineer to data scientist. Anyway, there is a turning point for everyone's engagement. That's really find out in while you started studying, right?
Where you start won't determine where you land.
Yeah,
that's a statement which I always kept in mind. So be open to opportunities, try out new things, listen to people, and do what appeals to you. And that's where it will guide you on the path.
So I have a different journey altogether. Actually speaking, a little bit of where I started, right? So I did my graduation in chemistry, right? I was a topper in organic chemistry. Maybe then I love chemistry still. My mom was a chemistry teacher. So then I moved to MCA, right? Then I explored the world of computer science, and then I got into Technopark, first company there, Case Consult India. That is where my journey started. My journey started with maybe mainframes and Javas and that world, right? And then after 3 years of working in Technopark, I moved to Bangalore after my marriage. So there I got into IBM. So I'm with IBM for this is my 20 plus year is running with IBM. So I joined as a developer and now a director. So that journey is quite awesome. And what I found is that flexibility and openness, right? I'm not a data specialist, actually speaking, right? I own data analytics products now, but I worked in virtualization space or, mainframes is all about that, and power systems, cloud security and infra part of it, and different domains in IBM. That's where people ask me, why are you, like in 20 plus years, are you not bored, right? So it's like in my last 20 years, I handle maybe some 14 job roles. That is how I just wanted to let you know that I'm never an expert in one domain, but I really believe my confidence in adapting new technologies and things like that. And that is how I landed in data and AI. So I'm the leader here for last 3 years in the data and AI space of things. And I own a financial product, actually speaking. So I'm the functional owner of a product called IBM Controller, which does all the consolidation aspects in the finance, and the final numbers which CFO sees, this product is actually giving. So that is where I'm owning for the last 3 years, and that is where a lot of this predictive analytics and all those kind of things also come into picture. So I'm quite enjoying that journey, but I'm learning. That is, I am seeing a lot of students here, like continuous learning, right? I got few certifications in quantum computing maybe some 4 or 5 years back, because tomorrow if I need to lead a team of quantum computing engineers, I should be successful as well. So that is me, and I enjoy the data analytics journey, business analytics journey.
Great, yeah. It's really an inspiring information from chemistry to data analytics. It's really interesting. Anyway, actually, I'll come to Sheela. Can you quickly brief about the current data analytics space and where it stands today? We just want to understand what's the relevance, because actually we all are discussing about AI and related things. Data is the fuel, that's the most expensive fuel in the world now. So where it stands today, can you?
Yeah, sure,
please?
sure. But anybody from analytics background, any idea whatsoever we are talking about? Thank you. Okay. So others are typically from commerce, science, any other background, so that at least I can give some examples in that space. What is your background? Mathematics?
Will not ask questions, don't worry.
Especially these are not interview questions, okay. Okay, so let me take an example which is kind of very common to people, okay, and say, I'm trying to bridge the gap between what is analytics for people who have not heard what is analytics. Now we have to start from there. So, we all have seen sales numbers, revenue numbers for organizations. Thank God. Okay, so if you talk about maybe 20 or 15 years back, okay, so if the numbers were shown in the form of a plot, there are wonderful tools like Tableau, Power BI and others, so don't get into those. But what I'm trying to say is, if it is shown in the, in the plot manner, then people will be like, wow, so beautifully, depicted. That was analytics. With the time, maybe 10 years later, people have seen these plots so much that they are like asking now, what is this plot? Because people created so many plots for every single thing that it became a fancy. And there will be 10, 20 different plots that will be bombarded to the management, then they will feel scared. They start saying, stop all of this, I don't want any of these. And what was in the history? Basically everything comes out in the form of a report or an email saying this is the summary. Before it used to be like, if I send you these plots, you make out. Okay, it's up to you. You go compare, see, everything is playable, you compare, match, and then they have to figure out, okay, this is this column, this is this one, and the x-axis and so on. That was a mess. So people did not start, did not like that kind of you go figure out approach through these plots, even though it was easy to represent. Okay, so they wanted something automatically generated email. So people moved from the graph approach to, can you put the graph again back in a text format and say, last month to this month, there has been a 10% increase in revenue. And that revenue increase is due to the increased sales of product number 2. Okay, then you deep dive into that, okay, why product number 2 has become more in sales or more revenue generating. Then it says, okay, the production, the number of units that you're producing has increased. Okay, demand has increased, or so and so. So they're funneling it down smoothly, and all that is automatically written. Now, somebody who is supposed to send them, that email to the, the MD or somebody, they have to just review once and then send it. It's automatically written. Again, there is no rocket science, there is no artificial intelligence. It is plain vanilla. There is a template that they follow, and it is just done. It takes the variables and all of that. So Today, as we speak, people want inferencing as though they are saying and not really in the analytics form. Okay, because that itself means like, you have to infer by your own, get your own insights. Okay, that is again work. So that intelligent work need not be done by humans. Okay, so they want the output extracted form where we can give like headlines. Okay, any newspaper headlines that will come out. So today, analytics can do all of this. Okay, ready-made information can be generated. You need not even go to machine learning or GenAI concepts, and this can be done. It's a very deterministic rule, okay, that can be followed. Taking another example, anytime you have an issue, say you book a flight tickets, you have some issue, you call them up, call centers, or you make some transactions, and then you have some issues, you call your IT person or somebody. All these typically which is done by the level 1 people. That means somebody who answers your call and right away tries to understand what is your problem statement and then see what is it that they can do about it. All that kind of an intelligence can start working in. These are again deterministic through chatbots. Here again, we don't need any kind of a machine learning, at least now, because it's just funneling it down to the extent saying, okay, the problem is with respect to the payment and they need a refund, something like that, okay? And then what needs to be done, again, it goes back to the agent. That's where machine learning concepts come in. But analytics, I can say, most of the plain vanilla logics, which we can literally say the workflow, can be automated. So all these kind of tasks are slowly getting automated, and the little complex jobs, which was told, let me connect you to the supervisor. Those kind of jobs can slowly be moved into the first level. So that's what a significant portion of the issues that were there can be slowly moved into the analytics. So that's where I can say today it's heading towards.
Yeah, that answer is really interesting because actually Sheela started discussing about emails and the volume of email. Can you guess how many emails per day sending? Just a guess. It's 231 million emails per minute. That is the number. 231 million emails sending per minute. That is the volume which is happening in the world. From that, it is not possible to show a graph like this one. Whatever the graph we are discussing in early days, which is not practically applicable in the current scenario. So that's why, anyway, it's really interesting. I'm just putting a word about that one. Coming to Pranav, the point is while increasing the volume of data, along with that, we are discussing one more thing. That is called the security of data. How to secure data, and we all are the part of a lot of calls, lot of mails, lot of spams. So, but we want strongly data for predictions, analytics, and everything. How to secure or how to ensure the data privacy while in that analytics space, Pranav?
Sure. So there has been a lot of regulations which have come in. GDPR, CCPA, CCRA, which talk about taking consent of the customers, agreeing with the customer that what data would be getting collected, how it will be consumed, all of that. But then what is crucial there is the person who is sharing about themselves, right? In India, if somebody wants to give you a credit card and with a good offer, they will ask you for an Aadhaar card or a PAN card. And the moment they say that it's a free card, credit card, automatically a lot of people, they volunteer and share their Aadhaar and PAN, which is a very crucial document about your own identity and a lot of things about you, right? But then the thing which has to be taken into context is what needs to be shared, what needs to be controlled, and who controls that. So it's always we who has to be deciding what kind of controls has to be enabled. When people go ahead and do some kind of shopping on Nykaa, Myntra, all of those sites, what we are doing is we are going ahead, clicking, doing actions, watching videos, all of that. And in that process itself, there's a lot of data which is getting generated, clicks, views, actions which are getting generated. And that is being used to understand what kind of actions, what kind of interest, psychographic profiles, demographic profiles about you, which will lead to further some kind of cross-sell, upsell, all of those kind of things. But then, do you opt in or do you opt out? So that boundary has to be established. The brand should be able to go ahead and do that kind of a set of mechanisms which take care of this kind of criteria. Like in Korea, if they have to, if you want to do, if you're a brand which operates in multiple markets, let's say the Southeast Asia market, and the same customer, Southeast Asia market is small, so people jump from one country to other sometimes, a lot of times, right? Singapore, Korea, Japan, Malaysia. Now, imagine if a brand is there, a leading cosmetic brand, similar to what I mentioned, and they have to do some kind of advertising to people. So what would they be advertising about? They should know about the customer, right? But then the Korean law says, you can't take my data outside the soil, right? So which is a good step about controlling the data of the natives there. But brands have to do business. They have to find out some ways how to do it. So what they do is, they come up with some kind of homomorphic encryption kind of methods, differential privacy methods. Now with which what will happen is, there will be selective access to data. Not everything would be done. The pseudonymization, anonymization will take place of your PII attributes, but then a lot of information is still made available, and the brands are able to go ahead and do that. So there has to be some kind of a balance which needs to be created on both sides, be it on the brand side and the consumer side, which needs to create that kind of a ecosystem there.
Great. Actually, Madhuri is more strong in that AI-related segment along with this one. In all these obstacles are in the industry, because actually data security, data challenges. In that scenario, predictive analytics is a serious point, serious concern in the market, especially for organizations. If predictive analytics is strong for an industry or for a business, that's really helpful for future plannings and steps for more engagement. How in this challenge situation, how we can move forward?
Okay, so if you ask me, this AI will pose challenge on all of us, definitely in one or the other sense, right? But I would want to look at the advantage side or the benefits, when we do the pros and cons. I'm more excited towards the possibilities which AI is actually giving all of us, even the predictive analytics side of things as well, right? See, digitization is there right now in banks and everywhere. It doesn't mean that, it has thrown a lot of challenges, but we have seen most of the benefits over there, right? And if you ask me from the predictive analytics side of things, that would also give a lot of edge to the industry and to the end user customers, right? So if, as an end user, if I would like to know, actually giving some insights to me, like what is going to happen, right? Based on my data, right? So data is anywhere, as you rightly said, is the new fuel. We can say that data is the new oil, right? So, but again, crude oil, in the raw format, you cannot use it, right? Correct. Similarly, data also cannot be used. It's like in that raw format. Raw, as he mentioned, emails, number of emails he just talked about, right? Similarly, huge explosion of data, right? I'll come to predictive analytics, but again, the fundamental aspect is again data, right? So we need to have trustable data. So if your product, if an organization's product or application on our mobile is telling us you should be using this, right? Nowadays, everything is actually suggested, recommended by AI, right? Okay, you just go to that bank will give you more interest, whatever it is, right? It is like very much embedded in our daily life, right? But just imagine if we cannot trust that data which is actually used for the analytics, right? So the end of the day, that data has to be trustable. So that is even for the predictive analytics and all, that is the number one thing, right? For example, IBM is having a couple of products around it. What's next? Governance. If you Google, you will find more. So it is more like governance need to be there on the data, regulations, right? I think AI is like, AI has been there for a longer time. But with this Gen AI, everyone is like introduction of ChatGPT and all, right? Everyone has started using one or the other tool, right? To, accelerate your journey and things like that. So the challenges on the predictive analytics side, it definitely is going to give us a lot of benefits, but underlying data has to be trusted, right? So for that, regulations are there, as he mentioned about the GDPR and other things, that has been there for a longer time, right? But now, I think all the government and the industry and everyone need to be together to have more regulations on the, AI side of things, right? Then only this challenges on the predictive analytics and all will be like, can get resolved, right? Because if something is predicted, right, based on your financial transaction, right, that will only scare you, right, if the data is not correct, right? The fraudulent activities happening in a bank account or default customers and all, you are giving things, insights to your financial organizations, the data is wrong, right? I think the fundamental thing I would say that have more regulations and things, responsible AI, trustable AI, all sort of things are like, we need to ensure that that has to be implemented. Algorithms need to be like unbiased and things like that, because underlying thing is, this is not magic, right? AI is all about someone is feeding, training your system, right? So it's very important to have the underlying things trustable. That is applicable on the predictive analytics side as well.
Yeah,
Quite
perfect.
excited.
Yeah. Along with the data security side, we need to ensure that things are happening properly, because without predictive, we cannot move forward, because predictive analytics is seriously very important for upcoming businesses. In business perspective, actually, that is really helpful for reducing our cost. So predictive is very important. On the same time, we need to regulate the things properly. That is, as Madhuri mentioned. To you, actually, what do you think about the future of analytics?
Future, of course, there is a lot of innovation going on. I don't think analytics can rest by itself. So there is a need for technology. There is a need for bringing in domain and making sure it fits very well to that particular domain. For automation to bring in place, a lot of integration to their existing systems and tools and infrastructure has to happen. In that, analytics is just one pie or one segment in that. What I feel is the rate at which things are progressing and the mindset is so very positive about embracing all of this. Automation will become the first level for sure in the near future. So once it becomes automated, as I was saying, maybe a decent portion of the work or operations tasks can be automated. So for example, in the manufacturing sector, now robots can do the welding too. Even cooking robots are able to do, right? So imagine those kind of things when small things are also can be done by robots, which is a higher end side of it. But analytics operations, wherever there is logic, it can be embraced, which certainly means that more intelligent jobs are something that we as human beings will have to start looking towards and working towards, which only brings in a lot of disruption in the kind of system we have today. And very, very new things have to bloom in soon. New thought process has to evolve. And we are looking for a good change is what I feel overall that is coming in. So not only in types of the job type, but also in terms of the lifestyle, in terms of what to expect and so on. So that's going to be a little far away, but that's what we can anticipate from my view.
Great. Actually, as Sheela mentioned about the job type, Pranav, to you, what exactly the employers face? This is especially for you, please note, actually, employers are struggling to get skills in this space. Normally, what are the career opportunities, or what are the challenges while recruitment we can see in this space?
Sure. So the very premise most of these data conversations start with is data is the new oil. But I believe data is not the new oil. It is about how we bring in data as the sunshine so that it benefits each and every person, every walk of life, right? So for doing that, it has to be the era in which we are trying to, we are seeing a lot of democratization which has happened. There's a lot of Chat GPT or Gemini. I think I was judging a competition a month back, and the student had prepared the entire marketing campaign using Chat GPT and DALI. So the marketing visuals, the creative, everything. Now, the students themselves are getting accustomed or using these kind of tools, so the democratization is already reaching them. Now, what needs to happen is the fundamentals should also exist. It's not just about using the end product and carving up the outcomes. It, of course, brings in the efficiency and effectiveness, but then you should be able to understand what kind of, have the basics of statistics, optimization rules, you should be able to understand. And then able to decipher under what scenario, what kind of algos need to come in. So when you want to use a Monte Carlo or when you want to use a supervised or unsupervised logic, so that clarity should exist. It should not be that you blindly just go ahead and apply some kind of model. So that baselining of the foundations around data, statistics, optimization, that has to be there. Some logical maturity around that. And then you would have an appreciation for these new age technologies, which will make our life easy. So that is the core foundation, I would say, which should exist in the next generation. And of course, technologies evolve, they change over a period. We all started with Power BI and those kind of visualization tools. Then came Gen BI kind of tools where the Gen BI would automatically define the kind of insights which needs to be delivered, right? So it's growing by leaps and bounds. What needs to have is the appreciation for understanding that you need to have the core foundation, which of course you get in colleges, or there are micro learnings which are there. So do that, and that will take care of your leap which you want to take.
Oh, great. I actually, in this scenario, coming to you, Madhuri, we all are discussing about when AI is coming, job losses are happening, that more. But as we can see, like organizations like IBM, Ernst & Young, and all other global organizations are expanding the facilities. And here, especially in Kerala, we can see a lot of scale-up of the organizations. So what is the, any comment on that? Because a lot of jobs are losing through AI. But can you comment on that?
Okay, so I would like to add a few things which Pranav said as well. So he has laid the foundation. He shared about the need of the foundational aspects and things like that. So whether there is AI or not, right? So what I believe is that we need to have our foundation element set right, in the colleges itself, right? And you don't have to, in this world, you don't have to be like so much worried about the specialization in one language, this tool, that tool, and all. That era is gone, actually speaking. If this tool today, tomorrow something else, right? Technology is very disruptive. So that is one primary advantage of this generation. In my, that generation, it's like you have to be a Java developer, you have to be a C++ developer. Now it's like, you have tools to convert one programming language to another. So, the fundamental things which I would be looking for, like for the job, I mean, while doing the hiring is like creativity, the logical reasoning skills, and nowadays your prompt engineering, right? For that, you need to have the right concepts, right? The clarity and things like that. So I think once that is set, I think job nowadays is not a problem at all. That is my viewpoint. And coming to this question on when AI comes, whether the jobs would get replaced and things like that, right? So some of the jobs definitely, right? But that would be only to help humans. That is what I believe. Because see, we have been seeing this, Industry 4.0, the industry revolution. It is like, if we see the printing press and how the technology evolved over a period of time, humans are only getting benefited out of it, right? And as I mentioned, for AI also, I would really want to see like that. So a lot of mundane activities are there, repeatable jobs are there, which is currently done by all of us, right? For example, in the hiring, right? There will be plenty of same thing, job description to be copy-pasted here, there, and so many repeatable activities, right? All those kind of things could be automated, right? Agents and agentic stuff and all, which we used to talk about nowadays, right? By using assistants, and I'm talking about the digital assistants, right? It's all, those things would only help us. We will be having better jobs. The jobs are going to get evolved. What I heard from some of the experts is that there will be n number of new jobs actually created, right? Because there are plenty of things in this world for us to explore, right? So we don't have to be like, okay, the current thing is going, some of the things, right, that will be taken over by AI, right? Do we want to do the routine, mundane things, right? That will only further make us innovate more. That is where the creativity has to be there. So it is having two sides of the coin, right? Some of the jobs will go and replaced by some of the exciting jobs, but we all need to, irrespective of this branch of engineering you are doing or this course we are doing, I think software programming, some of those skills or asking the right question, those kind of abilities we all need to upskill ourselves to go with this current evolution. Thank you.
What we understood is actually the future seriously into prompt engineering.
Yeah.
Because if we want to ask something, we want how to ask a question. Yeah. That is seriously very important in
English.
Because
English is going to be a very crucial language compared to Python or Java or C++.
Because we know we all are using ChatGPT. We can ask a question in two ways. We can just ask, what is this? Or we can in detail, we can explain the content and get the right answer. So what we want to teach or what we want to learn is how to ask a question to machine. As per my understanding, that is seriously very important in the upcoming future. So we want to refine how to tell a story. It's like a storyteller. So coming to Sheela, actually, what's your comment on if someone is, from the audience, they want to be a part of data analytics or related areas. What's your comment? How to move forward? How to study? Where they want to focus?
So I think that question is very relevant to the crowd here because not many of them come from the similar background. But very simple question, if you want to take this. Are you interested to move into analytics, data science? Yes, okay. Yes. No? No is an answer anywhere? Okay, great. So then
they're in confusion. After this session, they may be decided to.
Okay. So, but I am happy that you are having some thoughts at least in terms of, okay, can analytics be my next career thought? I would say there is no time when you can say that this is not the right thing for me. There have been people who have worked in any kind of a discipline for maybe 10 years, 15 years and gone up to the level of, okay, now I have learned this domain enough. It could be in the HR, marketing, sales, any of these. And now they feel because of AI entering into any of these disciplines, can we also learn that? Okay? And the answer is yes. And the plus point that you will carry with you is knowing that domain. Say you are a mechanical engineer, for example. If you come from that background, then you are in a filming background. So then you understand the discipline so much that you know what kind of an automation is possible there. So if you learn analytics or data science, then you will be able to see what you can do better in your field. Okay, whether it is chemical engineering or whatsoever, doesn't matter. Okay, and that automation you can bring in. Today, the skill that is missing even now is that somebody is very good in the domain, they know what these problems are, but somebody is also very good in analytics or maths, let it put it that way. But who is going to make them talk to each other and understand each other? That skill is missing. So if you start embracing analytics, then you will understand this part of the story to a certain extent, at least, if not literally sitting and coding, to an extent that you can start saying, okay, this is my problem statement. Can you solve this for me? Okay, and somebody can start solving that. So, and once you start bringing that into place, you will admire the way things will change in your day-to-day operations in your own field. Okay, so you can be the game changer. You can say that year on year, I can make so much improvement in my HR area or my marketing area or my sales area because of data science. Okay, you can lead that whole thing. So thereby, anytime embracing on the data science part of it is a plus for anyone in the organization. Thank you.
In this Sheila's comment, what are the tools or any recommendations to study when they're they're planning to get into the industry? Pranav?
I think the foundation part we touched about, which we heard from Madhuri ma'am also, right? The basic creativity, the basic technology skills has to be there. The logic has to be there. But then diving deeper into that, what kind of things, from a tool perspective, I'm sure in your curriculum you would be hearing about Python as one of the language. So the language existed long back, 10 years back, 20 years back, when I was in college as well, right? It gained its prominence now. So yeah, so having exposure to some of those kind of tools could be good. You should be able to understand still. When I was in college, that time we had data structures as a one common discipline which was there. So that still holds good. It's not gone away. The basic models which were there. So if you have exposure to that, that will also help you, because when you're competing, you're not just competing here. Think of it, you're competing at a global scale. When I talked to my sister who did her MS in analytics from US, so she was doing lead code, which is a set of problem statements which people are trying to address. And those are the questions which they get when they get interviewed at most of the product companies there. So think from that lens, how you prepare for those kind of challenges as well. So what could be there at a global scale? How do you go ahead and address that? Using the power of technology. It could be Python, it could be R, it could be any other tool which could be there. The focus should be on identifying the problem statement and how do you go about addressing it, how do you solutionize it. I think that becomes more important. Technology can play an enabling role in doing that.
Yeah, Madhuri, do you want to add?
Yeah, so we really, I'm sharing the same, more or less the same kind of thought process there. So you should be a good problem solver, end of the day, right? So look at things around you, like different problems will be there. That is where the innovation comes, right? So the patents or the innovations, it's not like rocket science, actually speaking, right? So if you have a simple problem, maybe there is no solution, right? Unique solution existing, right? So you can innovate. You should be a good innovator, right? And a problem solver. And as you mentioned on the several different programming language, right? I would say that, I mean, the curriculum is too good. Here in Kerala itself, so I am in the board of studies of 3 universities, KUSAT or Rajagiri, TKM Engineering College. So when I look at the curriculum, I'm so impressed with the curriculum, actually speaking. So we are going ahead with the game, right? So, but the fundamental elements, data structures, all those things, we need to have a thorough understanding. And what is actually currently used, if you're a computer science graduate, see, the technologies like RAG, right? Retrieval Augmented Generation. So you can just Google and figure that out if you're not aware of it. So again, vector databases are used actually to store those embeddings and things like that, right? So it's like the concept is like evolving and things like that. So those kind of technology, understand more on that, right? Do practical problems, very, very important, right? So theoretical knowledge alone is not going to take you, right? That is where your fundamental creativity, logical reasoning and problem solving abilities, all sort of things are going to really help. So on the tools, continue to have your eyes and ears open what is going on in the market. Just go with the industry. Next 6 months, there will be new tools, or 3 months, not even 6 months these days. No, every now and then it's like evolution. So that is how he covered. I just wanted to add a few things.
Yeah, that's great. In short, from Sheela, actually, IT, the term IT or information technology itself defines enabling business innovations. That means IT cannot do anything by itself. It is support wherever whatever your industry, wherever you are. It supports your industry and use the technology or information technology or IT for easing or improving or betterment of the current activity. So data, and obviously data is the oil of the industry currently, and security is seriously a big concern. And we got a lot of insights from all panel members. Thank you so much for sharing this valuable information. And it is already recorded the video also. It is really a learning book for everyone, those who are interested in data and analytics. Thank you so much. Thank you for your patient listening. At least you can plan and think about data analytics and AI industry. Without that, it will not move forward in the upcoming world. Anyway, thank you so much. Thank you, Sheela. Thank you, Pranav, and thank you, Madhuri.
What an enriching and thought-provoking discussion we have just had. On behalf of everyone here, I would like to extend our heartfelt thanks to our esteemed panelists for sharing their valuable insights and experiences with us today. Let's give our panelists a big round of applause, please. Thank you. As a token of appreciation, we would like to present memento to each one of you. And I would like to invite Dr. Ashi M. to kindly present the memento to our esteemed guest, Dr. Sheela Siddappa. Shri Pranav Kumar. Srimati Madhuri Madhavan Pillai. And our moderator, Mr. Sujas Ali. Thank you so much once again for the wonderful panel. Let's have a group photograph, please.